Hey everyone, it's Shotzi for the Rough Cuts. I hope all of you have been having a great time. I'm going to talk about a couple of movies that I've recently seen, and those are Don't Breathe and Morgan. Starting with Don't Breathe. This I saw last week. It comes out tomorrow. It was directed by Fede Alvarez. Some of you are familiar with his work, especially Evil Dead, that remake, which I talked about on this channel a couple of years ago after it premiered at South by Southwest. This is another kind of over the top, it's crazy thriller. Now, I wouldn't really call it a horror film. Excuse me. I wouldn't really call it a horror film. I think it's more of a thriller. But the premise of this is you have three delinquents who get their kicks by robbing the houses of the wealthy. And the ringleader of the three hears about the blind veteran who got a really big settlement when his young daughter was killed by a rich woman. So they decide, that this is going to be their last hit because it's so much money, they don't need to do it again. They can get their money, they can leave Detroit and the squalor that they live in, and this is going to be their big bundle. So I think it's going to be easy because when they scope him out, that's when they realize that the man is blind. So they think this is going to be a piece of cake, we'll just be in and out of there. So they go in, and it's not as easy as they think it is. In fact, like, all hell breaks loose when the blind man wakes up. And so he's played by Stephen Lang. Anything that has Stephen Lang in it, he's not going to be a weak character. He's going to be a force to deal with. And so when he figures out that there are these people in his house, he locks them in and he systematically tries to get rid of them. Now, this film, it's a lot of fun, and for the most part, the characters act the way that regular people would act in that same sort of situation, and that's what Fede Alvarez was going for. He didn't want people to do, like, really, really stupid things, but there are a couple of plot holes in this, and one of those plot holes is a really stupid thing. I don't want to give it away, but it's a point where a character has a chance and the ability to do something, and for whatever reason, they don't do it. And when you discover this, you just think, why did you not do that when you had the chance and the time to do it? You should have done that, because it leads to, like, a really big plot point in the movie. So that's one of my main qualms about this. And so, like, there are twists and turns in this movie. Sometimes you think you know what's happening, and then it'll go in a completely different direction. But overall, it's a pretty solid thriller. I enjoyed it. I say go check it out. Don't Breathe, starring Stephen Lang and Fede Alvarez. Acting's a lot of fun. It's violent. This is probably not an Adam safe movie. For those of you who are new to this channel, Adam, aka Unity Freak, is a person who used to review on here. Every now and then he'll pop up, but he hasn't for a long time. And he gets scared really easily. Like, he still hasn't seen Resident Evil because he thinks that it's going to scare him just based on the title alone. So this probably isn't Adam safe, but I wouldn't call it a scary movie. It's a thriller. And there's a lot of violence. Some of it is real violence. Because Stephen Lang, he's a method actor, and there are punches, there's violence against men, violence against women in this, and some of those punches are real, and they're vicious punches. Some of them are real, they actually connect it and knock people out. But, anyway, go see it. Don't Breathe, coming out tomorrow, Friday the 26th. Next movie, Morgan. Okay, I saw Morgan a couple of days ago. This is a directorial debut of Luke Scott, son of Ridley Scott. And it stars Kate Mara, also Anya Taylor-Joy. Anya Taylor-Joy, some of you saw her in The Witch as her debut. In this, she plays the title character of Morgan, who is a bioengineered child. Since she's bioengineered, or actually, since it is bioengineered, grows really fast, and is actually 5 years old, but looks like a teenager. And Kate Mara is a person who is sent by corporate who's a risk management supervisor. So there was an incident where, if you saw the trailer for this, you saw the violent outburst of Morgan. And so Kate Mara's character is coming down to check out what's going on and to see if that program needs to be terminated or if they can go forward with the whole thing. This is okay. It's overall it's enjoyable, but it could really, really do with some editing, namely the fight sequences. There are a lot of fight scenes that are in this, and eventually, everyone in the theater, well, I don't know about everyone, but everyone in my row, because we talked about afterwards, we just got bored. Because the fight scenes, they start to, like, just drag out. They were choppy. They weren't well edited at all. You heard a lot of, like, grunts and fight noises, but it was just so jumpy. You couldn't even make out what was going on. You just knew that was going on for way too long, and it just got boring and repetitive. So if they got rid of the fight scenes, it would probably be a lot better, because I don't think they can really improve upon them. It would just be better if they just cut them out or shortened them significantly. Because two of the fights that are in there, it's like the exact same fight, but they put it in there twice and made the second one twice as long as the first one. It's just a repeat, so it was bad. I know it's funny because I don't know how to edit, but I always talk about editing. That needed editing out completely. But the acting in it, yeah, it's pretty solid. Some of the characters are predictable, but there's at least character development that's in this. And there is a definite nod to a certain movie, which I will not name because then that'll completely give away the ending of it. But you'll know what I'm talking about if you go to see this. Overall, I'd say it's a pretty solid movie. Gets kind of predictable towards the end, but yeah, it's decent enough. It's a good ride. So I say go check it out. Morgan, this comes out the 2nd of September. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Until then, goodbye.